Yeah, it's funny because I actually thought I was like, oh, this guy's probably from New York or something.
I did live in New York, so yeah,
Yeah,
there's that. Yeah, I got a mixture at this point of all kinds of accents. So
everything. Mhm.
yeah, well, we are just a couple weeks away from your return. How are you feeling? This is your second fight of 2022. Prior to that, you had a long layoff. Is it nice to sort of have some consistency, some rhythm back to your career?
Yes, this is actually the fastest turnaround that I've had between fights. Throughout my entire career, I was only fighting twice a year. So yeah, this was the quickest turnaround, and yeah, I enjoy being skinny Lima and keeping my weight in the 140s and not bumping up to the 60s. So yeah, I like this fast turnaround.
Yeah, and how much different do you feel like right now since you fought back in April as opposed to when you fought back in April and you hadn't fought in almost 2 years?
Yeah. I feel like I said, I like keeping the weight down and just being in the gym more. Having that long layoff, it was nice, taking that little break, but now I just want to stay active as much as possible. And, if that means like coming out of this fight injury free, I'm like, I want to get on the Ireland card in September next. So yeah, I'm gonna just try to fight as much as I can before the end of the year.
Nice. Is there a reason why you want such a high level of activity? Is it to make up for lost time, or is there another reason for it?
I think it's a little bit of both to make up for lost time, but like also I might possibly want to start having babies after this, so I kind of just want
Hmm.
to like get through my contract as
Right.
fast as possible.
Yeah. Well, congrats first of all if you're planning on having kids.
Congrats on the
Do you,
planning. Yeah.
yeah, congrats on the planning. I mean, it's a big decision, right? I mean, a lot of thought must go into it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I have to make sure that it doesn't happen before the fight because that would suck if like I do all the camp and then the weight cut and then day of because they don't test you until day of when you get to the
Hmm.
arena. But I was thinking like, would I still get paid if I but if the fight got called off because I was pregnant? I mean, technically I still made weight, so but I wouldn't do that to Bellator.
Right, right. And do you more or less have an idea of when you would like to sort of start having kids? Is that already like in the works or?
Yeah, we kind of said that after this fight, we would start like trying, but again, it's all in God's timing. You kind of
Mhm.
just um can't really plan. Well, I mean, you can, but you can, but you can't really
Right.
plan for stuff. So I kind of just am like, whatever happens, happens. But in the meantime, if I can continue to fight again and get through as much as my contract as possible, then that's the plan.
Yeah. How many fights do you have on your contract, if you don't mind me asking?
I think I have four left.
Okay. So that's a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And with starting a family, we've seen some fighters be like, okay, it'll put my career on hold and come back. We've seen many fighters do that. We've seen some fighters have a different approach and be like, okay, if I'm having kids and I'm going to dedicate my time to my family and sort of put an end to my career. What would having kids mean to you career wise?
You know, right now I want to say that I want to stop fighting so that yeah, I could cuz I'm just like where will I have the time to be a mom and be running the gym and doing all the things, like where will I have time to train? But then I'm also like, but you see badasses like,
Yeah.
Misha Tate coming back after like having her two kids and coming out of retirement. So I think that it's everything is possible, but I think what I would prefer is possibly to like come out of retirement a little
Mhm.
bit down the road when they're a little bit older and it's a little bit easier.
Right, for sure. So let's talk here about your return. You're entering this fight at Bellator 284 on a two-fight losing streak. The only two defeats that you have in your professional MMA career. What's that feeling like? Because for so long you were so dominant, you were undefeated. This is a first ever for you.
Yeah, I mean it's not the worst thing in the world. Like I don't know, I'm not really. Yeah, losses suck, but they're just like breakups. They suck at first and then you get over it and you move on. So It didn't really affect me. I was really happy for both Velasquez when she won, because I remember when I won the belt, how much it changed my life. So I was really happy, genuinely happy for her when she won. And I was really happy for Justine when she won too. Like, she was the happiest fighter I've ever seen inside the cage. So it was cool. And me and Justine are cool. We saw each other after the fight. So yeah, I'm not one of those fighters that, like, oh, it's devastating. And like, no, it's fine. Shit happens. Freaking on to the next.
Yeah, so no pressure added. You don't feel like sort of an urgency to get a victory here, or you're not stressing over the past two defeats.
Yeah, I'm not stressing too much. I mean, to be honest, I feel like I've already accomplished a lot in my career that I can be proud of,
Hmm.
and that my team and my family can be proud of. So it's kind of like, at this point, I just want to have good fights that are fun and entertaining, and that put on a good show, and that I can also at the same time, like, bring awareness to whatever cause I'm currently fighting for outside of the cage. Like, that's my goal for the rest of my career. And then, ideal scenario would be to fight for the belt for my retirement fight.
Hmm. So yeah, the end goal is still getting back to the title.
Yes, I mean, because then that's like all my eggs are in that basket. It's
Right.
just, this is my last shot. This is the end of my career. This final fight, I want to go like balls in deep, freaking all the things. Let's do
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, but it also feels like, given your dominance that you had as a champion, the name that you have in the division, also the current state of the division, that wouldn't be too far down the road, right? Like, you would assume that maybe like two straight wins will get you back there. I think that's very
Yeah.
possible. So do you almost see retirement fairly close?
Yeah, like I said, I have 4 fights left on my contract, so I would say, like, ideal scenario is win these next 3, because like you said, our division's kind of crazy, and like, it's super deep right now, and everybody can make the argument to fight for the belt pretty much. So it's kind of, it would make sense that I would have to win at least 2 to get the title shot, but maybe even 3, considering how deep our division is. So if I win the next 3, then yes, like, my 4th fight on my contract, that's the one that
Hmm.
is like my retirement fight.
Yeah. So you kind of see this contract, these four fights that you have left with Bellator, kind of like as the last of your career.
For now. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, of course. Anything can happen, right? Anything can
Yeah.
change. Yeah. Awesome. And I want to talk to you about your health as well, because I know that that long layoff that you had was due to some knee injuries. Obviously, as an athlete, like, knee injuries always suck, and can sometimes change the career of a fighter. And from what I understand as well, I believe you posted something on Instagram after your loss to Justin Keish, that you had something on your shoulder, something on a problem in your neck, I
Yeah.
think, that affected sort of your arm. And that also wasn't new. You said that you've had that issue before. So what's sort of the state of your health at? How are you feeling right now? And as far as those issues, both the neck and the knees, how are those right now?
So yeah, I feel like I'm being a weenie, because you see girls like freaking Liz and Porto and all these old bitches that are like badasses. And I say that with the utmost respect. They're freaking, here I am, like, oh, I'm 32, I'm old, I'm sore, but I'm like, oh gosh, these women are like still killing it, and they're way older than I am. But yeah, my knee, I've had knee issues since high school, since freshman year. This was like my 3rd surgery I've had on it. I was thinking about getting another surgery after this fight, but we just decided it's not worth it to have to sit out another year.
Mm,
And so it's kind of just like, all right, you have a shitty knee. That's the reality. And you're just going to have to adapt your training camps and your fight style around it. As far as um, the neck was a reoccurring injury. I would always get stingers every fight camp, but once you get a stinger, you stop immediately, and you recover for the rest of the day or whatever. But in this fight, the stinger happened in the first minute. Like, literally, I tried taking her down, and when we went down to the ground, I fucking landed on my neck, and instantly, like the whole left side went numb. So that yeah, that was the first time in a fight where I was like, oh fuck, I'm screwed, and couldn't feel anything. So right after, that's why I was like wheeled out on a freaking stretcher after the fight, because once you say that you have a neck
Hmm.
injury and that your arm, your arm's numb, then they're like, oh my gosh, paralysis. So they freaking sped me to the trauma unit. It was crazy. There was like, they had to cut my clothes off, my neck was in a brace, and I was like, I think it's just a stinger. So anyway, yeah, I had to recover, do a bunch of physical therapy for that after the fight. Got, injections and all the things in my spine, and it actually feels a lot better. It feels great. I still have like residual, numbing, or it's super weak at times, but whatever. Everybody has injuries, and I'll again, it's just how are you going to adapt to it. So that's another big reason why I'm like, okay, I want to just finish this contract, because I really don't know how much my body can take. And I think especially my knee, like I had this ACL, my first surgery was in 2005, so it's been like 17 going on 18 years with this old ass ACL that I have in there. And it's like, yeah, I just want to be able to walk and not limp um, in normal everyday life.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's definitely understandable. I think health comes first, obviously. And it's crazy that you mentioned that, because even though you've had knee issues for like the longest time, I mean, you've achieved plenty. You were Bellator champion. You defended the belt. You've had some very big fights. So is it something that has gotten progressively worse, or as champion, where you already having like bad knee issues, just we didn't know, and you were sort of just still killing it and working around it?
Yeah, it was literally like a guarantee every single fight camp. My knee would pop really bad and I would have to be on crutches for a week and like not train. There were a couple fights where we thought we were gonna have to pull out because it seemed really bad, but I didn't get any MRIs the whole time. I was just like, nope, nope, we're good. It's all
You
good.
don't even want to see what's going on.
Let's just shoot it with cortisol and freaking go. So yeah, that was literally what I did all the way up until after I lost the belt. Then that's when I was like, okay, let's get an MRI and let's like fix this shit. So yeah, I've had knee issues literally my entire career. um but again, I think everybody does, to be honest. I'm like, there's no way you
Yeah.
can do this freaking sport and like not have a blown out knee.
Yeah, especially the grappling, the jujitsu, right? Like I do a little bit of jujitsu and I wrestled a little bit in high school. I have torn meniscus and I've had knee issues as well.
Yeah.
And I don't even train, I don't even put the same amount of mileage that you guys do, obviously. That's just levels above what I do just for fun. So yeah, I can definitely imagine. And overall, like looking at your career, it sounds like, you want to finish out this contract, you see retirement in the horizon. And it sounds like you're really at peace with what you've been able to achieve, what you built. I mean, it sounds like you're really proud of everything, despite some of the issues that you've had, both health and these past two losses. Is that how you feel? Like you feel at peace with what you've done, and whatever comes next is just kind of the cherry on top?
I do. I really do. I mean, I feel like I'm proud of what I was able to accomplish. And I think a big reason for that too is because I didn't have any high expectations going into this sport. I literally just wanted to lose weight. So it's like I had zero inclination to compete, much less, you know, turn this into my career. So I think the fact that I kind of just like took it as it came until one day I woke up and I was like, holy fuck, I'm a world champion. Like that makes it a lot easier, I think, to walk away, because
Hmm.
that it was never my intention.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I am at peace with what I've done, but that doesn't that doesn't make it any less fun to fucking punch someone in the face. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, while I might not have that crazy like drive anymore, that I see a lot of younger fighters who haven't tasted gold yet, and I see that in them. while I might not have that, I think I have more of like a, all right, this like cool veteran vibe, I guess. It's just like, yeah, let's just like fucking have fun in there and punch each other, like see what happens.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. And I gotta ask you this: every time that you fight, that it's your fight week, I'll see it on Instagram. I'll see it sometimes on Twitter too. I'll see that video floating around. I don't know if it was your debut, but you fought. I forget this lady's name, but she was clearly like not a trained fighter, and like you put her out like super
The soccer
quick.
mom.
Yes, I believe she like her training was like out of my garage or something when they like
Oh,
introduced her.
if that at all. I think her training
Right.
was like at bar brawls or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Katie
Was that your
Castro.
first pro fight?
That was my debut, and so that was my debut. It was out on the res, which was like where I started my amateur career and my pro career technically, and then after that was when I went over to Bellator. So
Right.
yeah, I've come a long way.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. How did that fight even come together? Because just by like looking at you, like you look pretty badass and intimidating, and looking at her, she just looks like some average, soccer mom from the suburbs.
Yeah, so the res fights are a lot of fun. They and the good thing, they're really good for your amateur career because
Hmm.
they will get you an opponent. And that's what you need as an amateur. You need that cage time, you need that experience, and fighting in front of a crowd. So I had about like 5 fights as an amateur out on the res. And then we decided to do my pro debut with them. And honestly, the pro debut, it was literally a bucket list thing. It wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna be a pro fighter.
Right.
I agreed to do this fight. I was freaking just graduated with my master's degree, and I was ready to like go out into the real world and go get a fucking 9 to 5. And so I was just, okay, fine, I'll do this. I'll do this one pro fight and then go be a big girl. And my coach, so we did out on the res, and my original opponent, I don't even know who my original one was, but they're like, oh, sorry, she backed out. But we found you a replacement. She has fought before. She's 0-2. Like, it'll be fine. I was like, okay. And at that point, my family had flown up from Hawaii to
Mhm.
fight.
No
So,
worries. So your family, you were saying that had flown.
yes.
Where is this again? Can you remind me?
Yeah. So it's out on in Valley Center, San Diego, which
Hmm.
is it's a Indian reservation.
Yeah.
Um, it's Paula Reservation. Anyway, so we they told me that my original opponent fell out, but they found a replacement. She was 0-2. And when I saw her, I was like, dude, did she even weigh in? Like, she looks way bigger than me.
Yeah,
But
she
what
was big.
and I think she was like smoking a joint too outside in the parking lot. But that was kind of like the nature of the res fights.
Yeah.
Our rule was that you couldn't go to the bathroom alone. You had to go with a partner because like somebody's gonna get shanked or something. So it was gnarly and raw, and literally to this day, it's my favorite place to fight at because it's so like grungy.
Right.
But so that was my opponent. We waited probably like 5-6 hours for me to fight. It was already midnight by the time they called us up, and by that point I was like so over it. So yeah, I just knocked her out really fast.
Yeah, that was super quick. Did you talk to her afterwards? Like, what are you doing? Like,
No, I think
no?
she went to the ambulance. I think
Okay.
she,
Yeah.
she got like wheeled, stretchered out or something like that. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was a pretty bad knockout. And in your mind, as soon as you saw her standing across the cage, were you like, yeah, this is gonna be a wrap?
no, not really. I was just like, dude, she's so big, and
Right.
fuck.
Right. It was also your first fight, of course.
Yeah, but what had got me was that when we first kind of like made contact, I felt her like pull my hair a little bit,
Mm,
and yeah, so I had no sympathy for her after that.
right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I always see that video and I'm always like, what was that lady thinking? But yeah, I mean, that's a crazy story. And let me ask you this now, going back to Bellator and pro fighters, although I guess she's technically a pro, but did you see the fight between Liz Carmouche and Juliana?
Oh yeah, I was there. I was sitting front row.
What'd you think of the stoppage? For a lot of people, it was controversial.
Yeah, no, I think that you could have made the call for either way. You could have made the argument, but me personally, I
Hmm.
have been under Liz's crucifix before, and you guys don't see her legs because she wears those long ass sports shorts, but she has fucking thick tree trunk legs that just, ugh, she's just like a little gorilla. And I've been under that crucifix before, and there was no way Velasquez was going to get out of that.
Hmm.
But do I think it was an early stoppage? You can make the argument for that. It was a title fight. It really wasn't that long, but Beltran did his job. He saved
Yeah.
Juliana from getting seriously hurt, and um, this makes for a great rematch.
Yeah.
So I think the
Yeah, for
rematch
sure.
is going to be pretty freaking dynamite.
Yeah. How happy were you for Liz? Because I mean, she obviously reached the top in the UFC, fought for the title twice, but was unable to get her. Finally, she gets some gold around her waist here.
Yeah, I mean, this was a long time coming, and everybody's journey is very different. Everybody's on a different timing, but this was for sure a long time coming. And it felt very full circle for it to happen. Um, you know, I don't want to say in my division, but like, yeah, like the promotion that I started with, that Liz mentored me through, and then Liz got signed, and then like Liz is fighting for the belt in my hometown. It was all like very divine timing in my eyes. And so yeah, I was super fucking happy for her, and not surprised either. So I
Hmm.
think again, I'm like really excited, very, very excited for the rematch, and very excited for the day when Liz and I are standing across from each other in the cage.
For sure. All right, well, I appreciate the time. Best of luck again, Bellator 284, August 12th against Bruna Ellen. Your second fight in 2022, exciting stuff. Looking forward to it. All the best in what remains of the camp, and yeah, looking forward to the fight.
Awesome. Thank you so much.